Good afternoon and welcome to the People's Voice on VOP Television, where we amplify the concerned stories, perspectives and voices of the Nigerian people. Today we join the rest of the world to celebrate Children's Day, and we are reminded of the importance of creating a safe and nurturing environment for our young ones. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his message, this year's theme, Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bully-Free Generation, highlights the need for collective action to protect the rights and well-being of Nigerian children. However, in the midst of this celebration, a disturbing incident in Rano local government area in Kano State has caught our attention. A young motorcycle mechanic, Abdullahi Musa, was arrested and detained for reckless and dangerous riding, only to pass away in a very sad event while receiving treatment in the hospital. This incident sparked widespread outrage in Kano State, which led to the mob action against the Rano Police Division, resulting in destruction of property and injury to the divisional police officer, who eventually passed away. May his soul rest in peace. But this incident has raised a lot of concern, with many questions about the role of law enforcement, community relations, and the rule of law in our society. How can we balance the need for justice with the risk of mob violence, and what are the implications for such incidents in communities, for people within community to trust in law enforcement agency, and what can be done to prevent similar incidents in the future? As we explore these questions on People's Voice, we will be examining the complexities of this incident and its broader implication for our society. Also, there's more to talk about promoting justice, peace, and community cohesion in the face of such challenges. There's been a lot of back and forth on this matter because some have raised the concerns of what Nigerians are actually facing, but the truth is there are no excuses for injustice, and when it comes to jungle justice, it's never the way to go in our society. But please stay with us on the show today, and do not forget to lend your voice with us, share, text us, or call us on 090-447-32605, or tweet us using the hashtag People's Voice on VOP TV. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV, and follow us across all social media platforms at VOP TV Live, and make your voices heard. It's time to get real, get engaged. People's Voice will return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back to the People's Voice on VOP TV. Today we are discussing a very tragic incident which happened in Kano State, Rano local government area precisely. And this incident led to a mob attack on the police station, which resulted in the death of the divisional police officer, M.A. Baba. Today, as we reflect on this incident, it's clear that there is a deeper issue at play beyond the report, beyond the debates and suggestions on what is right or wrong. We want to focus on what is beyond the physical, what is beyond that one incident that happened yesterday. There is a strained relationship between the Nigerian police and the public, and that is just the reality, because this incident, which has sparked widespread outrage and debate, with many people questioning the role of law enforcement in our society, But amidst this outrage, it's essential to acknowledge that the complexities of these issues, even though 27 people have been arrested in connection to this case, on one hand, there is the part of a police force that is supposed to protect and serve the people, which a good number of them are striving daily to, redeem their image in the face of Nigerians, saying that this is what our mandate is and this is what we are actually doing. But on the other hand, we have a public that is increasingly frustrated by the police actions and inactions, and rightly so. For many citizens, I think it's just about being on the edge. It's about being defensive, even before the police comes close to Nigerians or a lot of Nigerians. There's a mindset which I believe, and a lot of Nigerians are saying, is the reason why citizens react harshly to the Nigerian police force. We've seen videos of police officers extorting citizens. There is a very popular one which even happened recently where people were on a journey. This police officer actually collected money from 3 different people, the same people, like they were going together, asking for either 5 liters of fuel, which it knew they wouldn't be able to get at that spot, or pay 5,000 naira each. And these videos are not even ending. We've seen allegations of human rights abuses that are well documented. There are NGOs that have been working to protect the rights of Nigerians. And at the end of the day, how much is the Nigerian police force doing to ensure that the Nigerians are safe and are comfortable walking into the police station and talking to an average Nigerian police officer? So the question today is, can we blame the people for their frustration or disillusionment with the police? Is it fair to expect citizens to respect and trust an institution that often seems more interested in exploiting them than protecting them? Before we go deep into this conversation, I would just like us to see this video, then we'll come back.
I don't talk.
No, you don't do.
You don't say that.
You don't do.
You don't say that.
I don't say that.
You don't say that.
No, I don't say that.
Let him check. Government don't know. Computer don't talk.
No, you don't do.
You don't say that.
You don't do.
You don't say that.
I don't say that.
You don't say that.
No, I don't say that.
Let him check.
This video is one of many other videos that Nigerians continue to share online. In as much as you get the police respond to other cases and you see the swift response when Nigerians call on the Nigerian police force, it's rather unfortunate that videos like this come up every other day and it's little attention paid to situations like this. But let's further explore this issue. We'll examine the root causes of the community's anger and mistrust, which, like I said earlier, there's no justification for. And we will discuss possible solutions to bridge the gap between the police and public. Joining me now to have this conversation is VOP in-house senior analyst, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Good afternoon, Mr. Fanimo.
Good afternoon. It's good to have me here.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fanimo, for joining the show. We'll be discussing the implication of this incident and the possible ways to prevent similar incidents in the future. But first, before we get started, I'd like to get your thoughts on this issue, this event that happened in Kano State where certain citizen was arrested. According to the mob who attacked the police station, they said, oh, the DPO killed their own person. There is no justification for that, even though the police in another report has come to say that they arrested him on Sunday, they noticed he was weak, and they took him to the hospital. He passed away. And for the people, they are not patient, or they were not patient enough to even know what happened. Some had said he wasn't taken to the hospital. A lot of side stories. But in your opinion, let me get your first reaction to how we even got here.
It's quite unfortunate that this man has gone and there's nobody, nothing could be done. But if you ask me, I would rather we x-ray the relations between the public and the law enforcement agent, the civil law enforcement agent like the police.
Right.
You see, there are two sides to it. Yes, we might want to blame the police. We also sometimes, some of us overreach ourselves in the face of provocation and attack. Now, the policeman also have children, relatives, blood running in his vein. The person that is contravened, that led to arrest, also is a human being, like the policeman. Most times, we'll always believe that we have rights that are not even there. The police, even the act, the police act, gives you as a civilian the right to arrest. Most Nigerians don't know. If you see anybody about to commit crime, and you know that you have the wherewithal to arrest that person, it is your duty to arrest that person. As a matter of fact, if you don't, and that criminal gets away, and you will be charged for aiding and abetting that crime. That's one. Two, the police has the right to invite anybody suspected to have committed a crime or planning to commit a crime or had intention of committing a crime. Arrest is to make sure that you don't commit crime, and if you have committed, to make sure that you are brought to justice.
Right.
Sometimes, if you see the way we civilians attack the police for just saying you are under arrest, I don't know where that is coming from.
That was why in my introduction, I established how some of these things came to be, talking about how the Nigerian police force have presented themselves.
Now, at the point of telling you that you are under arrest, the plausible thing is to submit yourself to arrest. Sometimes when they meet you, you have the right at that point to ask that we want to see the warrant of arrest.
To ask Nigerian police?
You ask the policeman that has come to arrest you. If you come to my house and you want to arrest me, I would say I want to see the warrant of arrest. And if you insist that you want to search my house, there must be a warrant, search warrant. But the moment we see uniform, we are apprehensive for good reason. Sometimes. You have seen in this country that the law enforcement officer is used against fellow citizens.
Yeah.
Just because you have this little power over the person you want to arrest. And we have also seen incidents of the police arranging arrests and pressing charges that you know that you didn't commit. So everybody is afraid of the police, whereas we're not supposed to be afraid of them. Now, one of the greatest disservice Obasanjo did to us before he left government was the recruitment of 40,000 police officers in 2001, 2002. You ask me why?
Exactly.
Disservice.
Why is it a disservice, actually?
As at that time of that recruitment, there was no proper structure. There was no forensic profiling. Anybody that just showed up that is ready to join the police was
given the
brought in.
appointment.
I know of several cases at that time. Some known criminals in the neighborhood just disappeared for 6 months, and after 6 months, after finishing his training at police college, he comes back home with uniform.
Oh, there was no background check, like
no background check.
Private companies want to employ
no background
people,
check.
your guarantors, where you come from.
There was no. In fact, ordinarily there should be fingerprints to know ex-convicts that have been in jail for one reason or the other, and begin to ask questions about what brought that person to jail. But there was nothing like that. I recall there was a particular case in Ibadan. The wife of a police officer who died during operation enlisted to the police force, and the daughter enlisted in the police force same day.
Okay, Mr. Faribo. I want us to go.
You know why I'm saying this? Those recruits then are the ones I fear most in the force today. And they fall between the range of inspector and sergeant and inspectors.
Calculating the duration of time.
Yes. And these are people that, if you look at any video, check any video of this kind of attitude, check their rank. It is either a sergeant or an inspector.
Well,
now,
really sad
if you have somebody, for somebody like me, because I have this information, most times when I'm driving, when I see anybody that is an inspector or a sergeant, I comport myself beyond what I should do. If you ask me to come down from the vehicle and prostrate for you, I will do.
All right, Mr. Fanimo. See, the situation, I like the fact that you've pointed out some important things that must have led to how Nigerians have become when it comes to how we relate with Nigerian police force. But this is a case that has happened, and this is not...
We rather fear them than respect them.
So it's,
and it should be the reverse. We should respect the police than fear them.
So it's even beyond fear now, because we even believe in going after them when, if push comes to shove now. You see Nigerians making videos. In a case of what happened in Kano State, they were not bothered about making videos. They decided to take laws into their hands. Because there is a growing perception that Nigerian police force is becoming, is more interested in exploiting citizens than protecting them. So that is one of the root causes. How can we change this narrative and build trust between the police and the public?
Very good. It starts with, first, the mode of recruitment, the curriculum in training, and mentoring by officers. I tell you, nobody is born a criminal. It is society that makes one a criminal. Because when you have latent talent and there is no opportunity to exploit, you go around and want to do it through the back door. That's why crime will just emerge from nowhere. Now, if we have good quality citizens joining the force.
Okay, so we have to be quality citizens first before we go into the police.
How can you bring a miscreant to join the force? How are you going to train that person? It takes a long while to de-radicalize somebody. I'm a psychologist, I know what I'm talking about. Now, there was a time when I was in The Guardian. Myself as news editor and my correspondent then and one other person, we went after the police college Ikeja here to know what they were doing. At that time, at this time and age, recruits in the police college, they wake up 5 o'clock to go and cut grass with lantern and cutlass. Already, they wash toilets and do all manners of manual labor. Now, already you have dehumanized that person. And at that point, he is angry with the society that you are unleashing him to after 6 months. 2, there were controversies that they were paying for what federal government had bought to be given to them because they are also surrendering their lives in exchange for your safety and my safety. Now, these same people that were poor, because most times now, most of the recruits you see in the police force, it is out of want of job that they are. It's not that they have passion for it. They have searched. That's why a graduate will drop his degree and tender school cert to be able to join the force. So you know that it's a matter of desperation. Now, when in the whole of 6 months of that training at that time, they hardly go to shooting range because there is no shooting range in Ikeja Police College here. So they must take them to Alamala in Abeokuta. And you know the logistics of taking recruits to Alamala.
Is a military base.
Military base now. So that's why there is shooting range.
So the police don't have the shooting range.
You can't have a shooting range in Ikeja now.
Oh, okay.
The whole of Ikeja is built. So and there could be stray bullets. Because sometimes you have to use live bullets. Now, in the life of a 6 months recruitment training process, they go maximum twice. That was when they started having accidental discharge. So you need to understand the basis of this thing before you now begin to apportion blame. In some cases, what you see as a policeman out there is a function of maladjusted training process.
So that's why they want to unleash that anger
so
on the citizens.
They are already angry.
So, but I don't know.
They pay for their uniform.
But
uniform that was given to them by federal government.
Mr. Fanimo, you might say it's out of desperation or need for a job that somebody would drop their BSc to pick a job and lie that they have SSC. But I don't think that every Nigerian had to do that. I don't think that anybody was forced into the Nigerian police force.
They were not forced, but circumstance forced them to go because there is no alternative. So
the average Nigerian, like the guy that was killed,
now,
who is a mechanic, the circumstance pushed on in whatever situation he found himself, will now should be killed by a policeman.
You know why I am giving this premise? I'm coming to it. Now, already that man has been demoralized, has been dehumanized in the police college. Now he's coming out. And perhaps that policeman is Dele that kept his BSc and came just because he wants a job to survive and comes with school cert. And I'm now out. And I find you on the road. My classmate in the university, that I was better off.
Mr. Fanimo, you need to link this story to the reality in Kano State.
That's what I'm saying. So
how did his colleague that is better off push him?
Now, wait. I am telling you,
because
you
we
need
have to
understand
this issue
the
before we run
temperament
out
of the person you are engaging with. You see, it is possible. I am not there. I mean, I was not there. It is possible that Okada man that was arrested and later died in the process while in custody. It's possible that at the point of engagement with the police, maybe there was an argument and he may want to resist arrest and they will force him. And in the process, that is why I said training matters. In a civilized society, if you resist arrest, there is a way to incapacitate you and bring you without maximum force.
Okay, let's leave that for the cases of accidental discharge and all. The situation that we see every day in Nigeria, where a police officer will take you to a POS point to withdraw money, where a police officer will tell you that, oh, even the old station, the allocation to the old station is not even up to 200,000 in a month. Whose fault is that? How long will Nigerians continue to live like this and you expect them to trust the same people and not be apprehensive? You
see, it is difficult for you to agree with me because you have not seen some of these things firsthand.
You really do not know what I've seen in the hands of Nigerian police.
Because the way you are talking is like you just came back from America, where the system runs.
Nigerian police will arrest you as a student.
Now, what I'm telling you...
They will collect money from you and still be the same person to call your parents that you were involved in an accident. So it's not like things that have not happened.
What I'm telling you...
These stories happen every day.
What I'm telling you is an established criminal who was mistakenly recruited into the force and now being legalized to do that crime that he knows how to do best with the state stamp. Because it's the state stamp, once he wears that uniform, he's representing Nigeria. What I'm saying is we need to purge the bad elements in the police force and ensure. Now we are getting it a little bit better than before. Look at those fresh recruits now, the way they comport themselves. I'm told now that the minimum qualification is OND to join the police force. There is no way you will, if you do proper profiling, criminals will not infiltrate the force. It is those criminals that are already established criminals that found their ways into the force, that are behaving the way you are behaving. And every policeman, especially officers, they are fantastic people. But you don't get to see them until you get to the station.
So how do we then balance the need for accountability and justice in cases of police brutality or misconduct, while also promoting a positive relationship between the law enforcement agencies and the community? The deed has been done. There is a process that recruited people between 2001 and all of that has been done.
No, I said there is a police community relations committee in every division of the police force.
So how do we balance accountability and justice?
If you have relationship like that, and you have okay, look at what has happened to that DPO now. The DPO may not even know what had happened, and suddenly they just happened on him and attacked him.
Yes, they attacked the station, burned some of the vehicles there,
and
but even burned part of the police station.
It is possible that some people were inside that cell, and they would have burnt them along with the property there.
Of course, some people might have even escaped.
So now, what we are saying is, first, let's systematically phase out these criminal elements, because you cannot phase them out in one first swoop. You know why? Because you are populating the criminals outside, waiting to suck them in. So it has to be a gradual process, so that we don't upset the system. But the point is that deed has been done. But again, Nigerians should also refrain from taking laws into their hands.
Exactly. That's even the worst in all of this situation.
Those 27
this 27 items might not even be part of the people that went to the police station.
They may not even be part of it. But the point is, the police will profile them. The ones that are not culpable will be released.
In Nigeria.
The ones that are culpable will be charged to court.
The ones that are caught will pay dearly for it.
No, you see, for me, I've interacted closely with the police. I know the way they operate. You understand? If the police wants to do a thorough job, they know how to do it.
Exactly.
It is only when there are some external factors that I may not want to discuss here.
So, Mr. Fanimo, do you think a lot of we young people don't know this? If you have been close to the police force, if you do a lot of research work, you will know that the police actually know how to do their jobs.
No, why is it that if they steal a DPO's car, within 48 hours it will be recovered?
That's even a serious one. If they steal a DPO's babe's phone, even in Katsina State, from Lagos State, they will track it and get it. That is what gets Nigerians angry. I want you to understand this. It's not the fact that, oh, the police do their jobs when they want to do it. No. The fact that when they want to do their jobs, they get it done. And in a situation where Nigerians are expectant that they will do the right thing, then you start seeing cases being extended, elongated for till everybody lost count of what the situation is.
Another thing is, we unknowingly empower the police to deal with us.
How do we do that?
Fine. If I'm on the highway, if you accost me and you are trying to contravene me, I'm always at my best. I'll keep quiet. Because some of my friends that are top police officers, they have warned me never to argue with anybody on the highway. Mm-hmm. So I will comport myself. The ultimate thing is, I will even be the one to suggest that, sir, instead of waiting endlessly here, can we move to your station to go and do further discussion?
How do you used to say it? So let me share an experience with you.
I said I have done it several times.
Let me share an experience with you, Mr. Fanimo. When I was still in the university, at Joseph Ayo Babalola University, if you know my school,
sure that
you will know that.
Aluta
please hold on.
in your system
it's a private university anyway.
Properly
Brought up. It's a Christian-owned institution. They spent good money to send me to school, so don't worry about the Aluta part. If you know my school, it's on the highway.
I know now.
So there's no way you are going to school. There's no shortcut. You are either on that Ilesha, Akure Road. The first time I had to sleep in an unknown community in my entire life was going from home to school. So it was raining. There was a stop and search that they do on the highway. You know, there are a lot of them. There were a lot of checkpoints on the road then. and we just stopped. It was a car. And the only thing the driver said was, officer, well done. And he got angry. He said, I stand under rain. You dey drive motor, you carry AC. And it wasn't a private car, it was public, but you know there are some private, the ones with AC and all. And I was like, no, they carry passenger. I was like, oh. So now, because you did AC, you get mind. They asked me, say, well done. And he told him to park. I'm not joking. He didn't check anything. We were there till about 7 p.m. That part of the road is not where anybody wants to stop to help you. We sat down with them. He waited for their truck to come back because it's on the highway. So there is a truck that dropped them from checkpoint to the other. At about 8 thereabout, everywhere was dark. They took us to the community, showed us the guest house where we could lodge, and arrested the driver and his car. I'm not joking. We insisted on following the man to the police station. When it was about 9 p.m., the people selling outside the station, I haven't forgotten the name of that community, were the ones that told us that, Eje Losun, that means better go and sleep. So we paid maybe 3,500 because it was a proper village. It was lantern they even put on for us in the hotel room.
You had your phone with you?
Yes, but it wasn't the days of social media. It was the days of
I said you had your phone with you.
Yes. So that was the only thing that, okay, I could call school that, I was on my way, this is what happened. And the funniest thing is, the next morning, maybe they were the one that arranged for it. There were Okada man, that came to ask us if we are ready to go so that we can join vehicles that ellipse because we won't get vehicles easily. This is my own experience.
Fine. You see, for me, if I were in your shoes that day, as soon as it gets that bad, the next thing I will do is to ask for the nearest police station.
It was the station they took him to. Good.
And if those guys had behaved the way you said, there will be an officer that is saner than those on the road.
You sincerely believe in the Nigerian police?
I believe, honestly.
I've
done it several times.
I still have amazing friends in the Nigerian police, but I'm telling you that when they want to be criminals, it looks like a gang walk.
Look, let me tell you, if there is one organization that does not protect their own, police is one. But you will not believe it.
Let's go back to Kano State.
You will not believe it.
Let's stay on this random
because the moment that person enters trouble, you know what they will say in that station? They say, I don't want, I know they hear word. God,
no, that wouldn't have happened now. This happened in, I think, probably 2006 or 7. So that will not happen now because there's no way there's social media or you could call people, a community that there was no network. Let's talk about the potential solutions or strategies that you would recommend for improving
training, proper monitoring.
So I'm talking about police community relations now because you've dwelled so much on the fact that we need to do better with recruitment and the police force. But when it comes to police community relationship now.
You see, when you want to talk about police community relationship, you need to understand the modus operandi of the force as it relates to engagement with the civil populace.
Okay.
And then the community, I have seen chairman of PCRC intervening in what was considered as a civil rights issue. That in the course of the engagement with the police, the man that felt his rights had been trampled upon realized that he had no right at that point. Because his right stops at the point you are now dealing with another person unjustly. But if that case had been handled with force, that man will still hold on to that belief that I was right. They are just punishing me unnecessarily.
Justly.
You recall that when the issue of Showore happened, I said Showore was wrong at Airport Road there.
Road, yeah, true.
I said he was wrong. If a policeman says he wants to, do you know that policemen, they are sent from their station to cause traffic on the road because there is an information.
Yeah,
you are not listening to signals from them now. Maybe somebody just signal from one station that they are pursuing some armed robbers and they are likely to take this route. So they will come to the road and slow down movement. At that point, they are not going to tell you that we are waiting for some people. That's why we have caused traffic now. So a lot of things happen. It is only when there is this relationship between the community and the police that the people will get to understand some of these things and that sometimes these people don't act without information.
So how can,
And then you will
how
now
can-
understand. That's why we have PCRC. But unfortunately, the kind of engagement between PCRC and the force is not as deep and robust as it should be. Because even now, you find chairman, secretary of PCRC now abusing the privilege of being there.
Yeah, true.
And some of them will even say, yes, I'm a policeman. Because there's a sticker that says you are a member or chairman of PCRC. But that's not the spirit of PCRC.
I want you to talk about the people too, because we've dealt so much on the police now.
Now
on our part as citizens,
now,
how can we do better?
Now, how to do better is, one, when I was in Form 1, I was taught by James Hadley Chase, in the course of reading some of his books, that never argue with a man carrying a gun. Please, no matter how these people try to provoke you, please don't argue when you see somebody carrying a gun. Because you don't know his psychological state at that moment.
So just peacefully do the transfer to them, or just give them the cash?
Misplaced aggression. No, you may not necessarily give them money.
So if he's carrying gun and he's asking you for money, so what do you do?
You say you don't have that. Yes, they will not shoot you at that moment.
You live in a different Nigeria, trust me.
Well,
or maybe your generation, they have badges that they've given you people. So that way you pass, they just let you be. Because you can't tell me that
let me
it
tell
is
you
the same Nigeria that you live in, that I live in.
Now, let me tell you
I respect
something.
the Nigeria Police Force
Do you know that if you are talking to a policeman and you suddenly put your hand in your pocket, that policeman can fire you?
It's disrespectful. Because it might be...
Not even disrespectful.
You might
want to pull out a gun. Even in America, if you do it, you will be shot.
No, but in Nigeria, it gives them joy. Once the hand is going towards the pocket or your wallet or your handbag, then that means that it's good business.
That's another matter for discussion.
But it's the matter that led Nigerians to being apprehensive. It's the matter. It's because Nigerians don't trust them. It's because when we see the uniform, once I'm driving or I'm in a public transport and we're approaching a checkpoint, I see a police officer that has checked the papers and is not letting us go. Naturally, everybody is already on the edge.
See, let me tell you, I've had occasions. There was a day I was traveling with a cousin, a top journalist in this country. And the policeman stopped and he was looking for something that does not even exist. He wanted to react. I said, please, just calm down. Allow this man to vent his frustration. And we were calm. I was not in a hurry to leave the place. At a point, I said, now that you have asked for all the papers and we are provided, what do we do? He said, you know what to do. I said, I don't know what to do. Now said, if you don't know what to do, you'll be here. I said, no problem. But at the end of the day, you must take me to the police station. Just don't allow them to tell you that they will take you to the police station. Ask first. They are already suspecting that probably, you know how many policemen that have been dealt with in the process of all this.
All right. Let's wrap up this segment of the conversation. Nigerians, Mr. Fanimo is saying to you that once the police officer is holding you unnecessarily at whatever point, ask to be taken to the police station and do not pay bribes. But for me,
well, you know why they will not take you to the police station? One, the moment they take you to the police station, whatever bribe you want to give, that person that accosted you on the road cannot be partaker of that bribe.
I've said it that you work with the Nigerian police force. But let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll talk about the Children's Day celebration and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message, and if this renewed hope government is prioritizing the well-being and development of Nigerian children. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with the People's Voice. It's been a very interesting conversation on the show, talking about the Nigerian police force and the citizens. Police force community relationship, what it's like, why Nigerians get agitated when they see the Nigerian police force, what's the way forward dealing with the police, and of course the citizens too, responsibility on our parts too. But as we reflect on the challenges that are facing our country, which is one of the things we've talked about earlier, we are reminded of the importance of creating a better future for our children, because we don't even want this to be the stories our children will be talking about or sharing in the future. On his part, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message on Children's Day is a timely reminder of the need to prioritize the well-being and development of Nigerian children. In his message earlier today, President Tinubu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to safeguarding the rights and well-being of Nigerian children, declaring them as the pride and future of our great nation. He called on families, schools, communities, and the government to work together in building a safer, more nurturing Nigeria for the next generation. The theme of this year's Children's Day celebration, Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bully-Free Generation, highlights the need to protect children from all forms of violence and abuse. But what does this mean for the average Nigerian child? If you've gone through the cover pages of most national dailies today, or even you go online, you see them talking about the president protecting the Nigerian children from bullying, trying to build a bullying-free generation. But we don't want this. We want to take this beyond the cover pages of the national dailies. We want to understand what this means for the average Nigerian children. And we are blessed to have a psychologist in the studio analyzing this conversation. Mr. Fanimo, let's take a closer look at Mr. Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message and its implication for our children's future. What are the key highlights of the president's message, and how can we work together to create a brighter future for children? Because trust me, a lot of Nigerians are already reacting to the message that, oh, it's a long script. But on the part of the Nigerian children, how are we faring as a father?
Well, for you to properly situate how Nigerian children are faring, you have to also look at the infrastructure on ground. You're talking about education, you're talking about health, you're talking about housing, you're talking about food, you're talking about security, and a whole lot of other things.
Yes.
Now, if there is no enabling environment for these children to realize their potentials, it is danger waiting to happen.
Danger waiting to happen.
Because they will always find alternative to what is right. And when they begin to find alternatives to what is right, the state becomes apprehensive. And then they will be deploying more money into armament, arms and ammunition, rather than considering the social implication of making sure that these children have their potential fully exploited. Now, children those days, they are no longer children today. Because if you have a 25-year-old that you are still feeding, he's still a child.
That was why I said, how are we faring? I'm sure you got that question. Maybe you didn't understand, because I added myself to the children.
Because you see a 35-year-old that is still taking recourse to the parents to be able to make ends meet. Yeah,
because you even collect salary, and you even by the 10th of the month you are calling home. So daddy, please.
That is it. So now, if you are not willing and able to provide the necessary structure and superstructure that would allow these children to stand on their own. I was watching a video today, even in America. This guy is 45 and a 78-year-old father and 75-year-old mother. He is claiming right that because he had an accident that demobilized one of his legs, said the father must provide for him food, shelter, and everything he needs. And the judge was trying to remind him that you are an adult. He said, no, it is still my parent at 45. So how would you categorize?
You don't tell me whether I'm an adult or not. I'm the child.
So now that is America. But now imagine what is happening in Nigeria today. Today, those days when we were growing up, our brothers and sisters, when they want to wed, they just bring the invitation home. The father and mother will tell you, I have 2, 3 sets of age group people that are this one 25. So you already know that you have to cater for this set of people. Then the attire that your parents will wear, you know that it's your responsibility to provide those attire. And then the moment you start working, one of your siblings we are not looking at. The grant that gives us free vaccination, Trump has stopped it. Is government making sure that those monies were being provided here in country? I don't think so. So health, from the position of health, we are in trouble.
More expensive now.
It will be more expensive. Now, education. Education is being priced out of the reach of the common man's child.
So they provided no fund for you to borrow money.
That's when you get to their institution. Won't you get to primary and secondary?
You can homeschool.
They say primary school is free, but teachers will collect 3,000 before you resume in school.
Secondary school is supposed to be
secondary
free in some states
school,
too.
They will collect money. Only when you have good Samaritans and maybe the governor feels compassion that he will pay WAEC fee. So how do you now compete with your counterparts outside the country?
Okay, in 1 minute, what can parents do? If you said that these are the standards, these are things that we're hoping gets better, how do parents become more responsibility for their children?
It's unfortunate. The parents, the salary cannot even take him to the bus stop, not to talk of considering the children.
But that salary still helps him or her to get pregnant.
Pregnancy is a natural cause.
Not a natural cause. There
It's
are
a natural cause.
There are many contraceptives that you can take. There are many procedures that you can do.
It's alien to our culture.
It's alien to our culture. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Dele Fariwo. Mr. Fariwo has said that birth control is alien,
to our culture.
To our culture. But
even the Bible said that we should procreate.
Yeah, we should go to the world and multiply.
Yes.
All right, I think this advice is strictly for whoever thinks it works for them. But on my own part, the country is a country. We hope for a better space. What is best for you is to build your life around your resources. As we conclude today's discussion on People's Voice, we've reflected on the critical issues that are affecting our communities, talk about the tragic event that happened in Kano State, Rano local government, to the future of Nigerian children. It was quite interesting having someone elderly talk about this, and the reality stares in our faces. We have to take your destinies in your hands. We thank our guest, Mr. Fanimo. Thank you so much for joining the show. And to our audience, thank you so much for being a part of the conversations today. Let's continue to amplify the voices of Nigerian citizens and work towards building a safer, more just society for all. Join us next time on People's Voice as we explore more pressing issues shaping our nation. I am Adefunke Jaisimi, and I strongly believe in this project, Nigeria. Nigeria will be great again. Good afternoon.